Tzu Chi Australia chapter provides vegetarian meals to homeless people and low-income families. Tzu Chi recycling stations build a cloud-based healthcare system to care for recycling volunteers. Welcome to the Headlines. I'm Sibir Su. Thank you for joining us. The global pandemic has led to the Australia chapter to provide vegetarian meals to homeless people and low-income families on a weekly basis. The meals not only fulfill important need, but also remind people of the benefits of vegetarianism.
We offer hope.
In the hot kitchen, the chefs here have an impressive background.
He's from Hong Kong and he has about 50 years of experience in cooking. Another person we have here is from Shanghai. He's from a very famous vegetarian brand there. He came here today to make a Shanghai-style vegetable and pepper fried rice.
The vegetarian lunchboxes are the result of collaboration between Tzu Chi Australian chapter and local vegetarian restaurants. Their collaboration have brought comfort to Sydney's homeless people and low-income families.
The birthdays had before is nothing like this. Therefore, this time it's very meaningful. From washing vegetables to meal prep and to bring food to people, I felt very happy and satisfied because I could help people during my birthday.
The first stop for the delicious meals is at Parramatta Mission.
What the love that you have in your hearts is on your face. So that is very, very important. It's not just the lips moving, it's doing.
Peace and harmony and love, as you mentioned.
Belief is the most powerful of tools. Belief.
The second stop, a food station, provides vegetarian meals for people in need.
Low-income families, people from broken families, as well as people experiencing domestic violence. We've got about 15 regular clients that come for food support. People really appreciate, for a change, a bit of vegetarian food.
We help them and care for them. While doing so, we also take the vegetarian concept from Tzu Chi and promote it to them just as Master Zheng Yan has told us to.
The acts of kindness are transformed into lunchboxes one by one, hoping that more people may realize the benefits of vegetarianism while eating these meals.
Recently, China's Sichuan province suffered flooding due to heavy rain. In Leshan City, a village suffered severe impact. The entire village of around 3,000 people were moved to shelters. After evaluating the situation, city volunteers brought Jingsi folding beds and blankets to the affected residents.
五一村本来是一个河滩地上面的形成了一个村，洪水让它形成了一个孤岛，整个五一村几乎所有的房子都被大水淹了。
After the flood, houses, trees are torn by the disaster, becoming a total mess. 2,800 people living in Tieluxiang's Wuyi Cun were moved to a shelter.
We only wear these clothes and we only have this now. Volunteers brought us clothes and we're thankful. Our other clothes are in mud due to flooding and cannot be carried in luggage because it's heavy.
Losing everything, villagers living in the shelter ponder on what they should do going forwards as they face the future with helplessness.
The tough situation only is temporary, and it will pass eventually. I believe that you will be able to get back to normal life soon. You can also save your own home and community, and improve your infrastructure over time.
Before, our high river shoal had soil, but after flooding, the dirt is now washed away. The stones that are at the surface now will affect the harvest next year. If we want to resume planting and growing tobacco, it will be difficult.
The vice mayor explained the current situation, letting volunteers further understand the main issues of affected residents. The next day, volunteers brought Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and blankets.
The food supply in the shelter is sufficient for the time being, but because they sleep on the floor and it is almost fall, we organized and brought in Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and blankets for locals. The villagers are happy about this because they told us that they had slept on the floor for days, which made their throats uncomfortable.
350 sets of Jingsi multi-purpose folding beds and blankets solve the short-term needs of affected residents. As for further help and care for villagers, volunteers promise to follow up and be with them.
So the University of Science and Technology's new children play returned to Hualien for the third showing. The theme of the show is Appointment for the Pure Land, corresponding to the 30th year of Tzu Chi's recycling mission.
Cool and dazzling movie outfits had caught audiences' attention. The performers act as bats living in dark caves. Bats have a nature in avoiding crowds, but in order to satisfy the desire for food, humans started to consume animals, and ever since they were close to the devil. The story has led us to connect with the current global panic causing COVID-19. The performance combines with current events, making the audiences reflect on their own lives.
This time
maybe due to the pandemic, a lot of the programs performed have a different form from previous performances, which were more for children. Thought this time they brought in more and thinking yet with a light touch.
Tzu Chi University of Science and Technology's newest children play, Appointment for the Pure Land, is at its third showing back at the Hualien campus. Using performance to pay respect to recycling volunteers, performers act to their best ability.
Personally, I cannot avoid drinking beverages, but when I do so, I will use my own eco-friendly cup and straw. When I go out, I will also bring an eco-friendly bag and use eco-friendly cup sleeves. While eating, I also use my own utensils.
The character I like the most today is Nuwa because they wore pretty clothes, and they also told us what is collective karma. The show has taught us to go vegetarian and do recycling.
Embracing vegetarianism to save animal lives and doing recycling actively, our Pure Land requires everyone to reach out their hands and build it together.
TMA members have made regular visits to Taiwan Chengong Town. The residents lack medical resources. This year, 64 medical professionals and volunteers were mobilized. They held a free clinic at a school. Besides local residents, the school's baseball team members have also come to relieve their pain.
A group of high school students from the baseball team had just finished practice, and now they are here to report in. Covering the face and stretching out the left hand, most of the pain comes from the overtrained arm due to practice.
In terms of sports injuries, it's normally located at the wrist joints, lower back, and legs because the athlete has to run, slide, and catch.
After a baseball practice, the player must cool down and massage the body at night. This concept is not properly enforced yet, like this. When it is not done, and when the player gets older to 20 or 30, he will suffer from sickness while working.
Body pain is actually the common illness amongst people living in Taidong's Chenggong Township because the residents live near the sea, relying on fishery and farming, which requires constant labor. These jobs have a high risk of producing injury. Due to this, Tima Eastern District makes visits here every year in August. This year, the main departments are orthopedics, Chinese medicine, pediatrics, and general medicine.
Normally, we discover the sickness not through infection, but caused by life situations and habits. Because previously, I have seen some people with smoking, drinking, or chewing betel nuts habit. We must teach them about hygiene and give them long-term care.
This free clinic had over 60 medical members and volunteers present. Plenty of people joined in on this for the first time, learning about how to deal with an emergency while understanding the needs of people living in the remote areas.
Going mealless is a global trend. Taiwan has many companies following the trend. An accounting firm in Taipei has been promoting a vegetarian meal a day in a week for 6 years. Now facing the pandemic and after discussion with employees, the 1 day has been increased to 2.
大家好，我是姜威哲宇。
The lighthearted mood is from this accounting firm. Supervisors from different branches gather at the headquarters for a conference report. Zhang Weizhen, the boss of the company, has over 300 employees.
The boss works and thinks with a fast tempo. He is very determined, and he won't do things sloppily.
I think he will still choose. He doesn't listen to me all the time, except for this time. He listened to my suggestion.
好，对，打钟了，打钟了，真的打钟了。
At lunchtime, the bell rings, and everyone in the company walks down to the central kitchen for meals. The kitchen is quickly crowded as many supervisors and employees show up from different floors. At the same time, the branch office located in Taichung, although relying on meal deliveries, more than half of people don't go out to eat. The reason is simple.
This is very light, not like the meat dishes which is very greasy.
The chef basically cook with less oil and salt. I think it's a good thing about this is that although the meals are less oil and salt, it is still very flavorful.
The promotion of vegetarianism reaches its 5th year at the accounting firm. From Vegetarian Wednesday to adding another day due to the pandemic, the increasing days is a test to the chef's ability.
就稍微勾一点芡，这样芡汁，然后再把蛋加蛋。我觉得南瓜加蛋下去还蛮好吃的。
I listened to people's suggestion on what to add. When I first started cooking, I didn't add eggs, I just did this. But after I discovered that adding eggs makes the dishes more acceptable to employees. Some people didn't like it at first, but now I made them like the food.
这一道是百叶豆腐卤猴头菇。
4 vegetable dishes along with a bowl of soup. The set is filled with healthy elements. Every dish tastes like home. This promotion of vegetarianism is led by the headquarters, while the branch offices follow up.
There are some problems with CO2, which damage our environment. This is why everyone wants to pour in their efforts and to go vegetarian.
Before on Wednesday, we would charge $1 for a meal, but since we added another vegetarian lunch day on Monday, the meal on that day is provided by the company for free.
No matter if it's for health or environment, the company, from bottom to top, had changed their eating habits, which contributes to saving animals and improving our ecosystem.
To care for recycling volunteers, Tzu Chi recycling stations have built a cloud-based healthcare system. For example, they have digitalized blood pressure measurement, and starting from March 2019, this health is uploaded to the cloud and turned to big data. This means that Tzu Chi's recycling stations not only care for the earth, but also those wonderful elderly recycling volunteers.
It's important to eat 3 good meals a day to live long into old age. Diverse nutrition is important, and some people use slogans to encourage the elderly to eat a healthy diet. New Taipei City Tucheng Recycling Station undertakes an important routine before each lunch. Vegetable dishes along with rice are not only cooked with care, but also a nutritionist guides them.
There's a group of bodhisattvas who go through the trouble of taking pictures of their food every day, and then I go in and gather these images and upload it to the cloud. And I also give this to our nutritionist, and the nutritionist will help give us back some feedback about some special areas that we need to pay attention to.
Not only need to eat healthy, but reporting to the recycling station every day also involves this activity. After signing in with the computer, blood pressure is measured. Starting in March 2019, Tzu Chi Foundation built a cloud-based blood pressure monitoring system with nearly 90,000 recycling volunteers in Taiwan registering their age, blood pressure, and heartbeat. One can also notify family members as this network closely monitors their health status.
I take regular blood pressure medicine, just half a pill. When I didn't take it, my blood pressure will be around 140. So coming here and measuring makes me feel more confident.
The system can be accessed through a computer or a mobile phone. Initially, it was tested in Hualien and the Tucheng Recycling Education Station in New Taipei City. Currently, 67 systems have been installed. However, many recycling volunteers are elderly people, and learning to operate a computer means that they not only need to overcome psychological barriers, but also need continuous encouragement.
If they can't do it today, then I'll teach them again tomorrow, and on the third day we'll continue to teach. They can accumulate knowledge like this till they finally complete the task, and then they're quite happy. And I encourage them by saying, well, you say you didn't know how to use a computer before. You say you didn't know English characters before, but now you can type English characters, such as the characters in your ID number.
Even with a few keystrokes, these volunteers can check their health. To further protect recycling volunteers, the Tzu Chi Foundation has also cooperated with the National Health Department on the prevention and delay of disability and dementia care. Through these recycling activities and appropriate courses, elders can help maintain their proper physical and mental health.
We also hope that some of their damage to their body is not caused by sitting too long when doing recycling or other bending actions, so we have to do some testing and collect some data about them. This is to check the data to see if they are below average or how they generally compare to others.
Starting from August 2018, medical and rehabilitation teams have been dispatched. In addition to movement and physical tests, they also check for nutrition, cognitive recognition, fall prevention, correct medication, and chronic disease management. All this is done to evaluate recycling volunteers and check the physical and mental state of workers.
The Health Promotion Administration also hopes that the concept of health promotion can be promoted to other locations that have not fully taken into account this matter. They want to spread this to make it more universally accepted, with complete care offered, as these recycling stations are a good place to start.
It is impossible for an old person not to get sick. There are 3 activities: exercise, using your brain, thinking about something. You can't just think about nothing. The other is very important thing is to interact with people. So doing recycling is a great way to slow down aging, and it's also usually done in the community, making it very accessible.
According to statistics from the Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center, Department of Aging and Community Health, more than 5,700 recycling volunteers have been surveyed, and data shows that this work has actually led them to slow down their disabilities and delay the onset of dementia. This means the elderly can not only age with good health but also dignity.
In Zhanghua County, Shoushui Recycling Station has no infrastructure. With only a starfruit tree and a cotton tree, volunteers carry out recycling work under the trees. Without fearing hot sun or rain, volunteers have been doing recycling happily for years.
Without any roof or walls, this is Shoushui Recycling Station.
These 2 trees combine together to form a big shade. By the side is a paddy field, so even during summer, the wind is very cooling.
Although there's no roof and walls, 2 big trees provide shade, and with the natural breeze, the volunteers feel cooling with a peaceful mind.
Without this starfruit tree and this cotton tree, it would definitely be very hot. But because of the trees, we did not need to build any roofs or walls.
There are over 20 recycling stations in Zhanghua County, and Shoushui Recycling Station is the only recycling station without any infrastructure. They only rely on a few trees for shade, and over the years they have been doing recycling like this.
The recycling station is about 500 square meters. This land was donated by volunteer Zheng Cheng Xiuzhi, which is right behind her house.
It's a good thing to interact with others and make new friends. If there is no recycling station, then there will only be a house and it's very empty. It's good to have people around here.
They are not afraid of the noise but enjoy the happy atmosphere. Even the old factory next door is turned into part of the recycling station.
I told the landlord that those bronze and galvanized irons should be placed inside here, so it's much safer.
Doing recycling in the open environment, volunteers are not afraid of the sun nor the rain.
We'll wear a raincoat if it is raining a little, and rest when the rain is heavy.
A simple environment feels even more calm and free.
Doing recycling under the tree seems more natural, and I feel very blessed.
In Zhanghua Shoushui Recycling Station, there's no proper cover, so recycling volunteers carry out their work under a big tree. Every day there are lots of volunteers, and their average age is 60 years old.
She seems normal while walking, but her spine is weakening and needs to wear a waist support. She also has knee joint problems.
My knee joints have weakened and need to wear a knee support.
She also had a heart surgery. However, the physical pain does not stop her from her will to reciprocate.
It's all right if I stand for a while, but I dare not stand for too long as I'm unable to do so.
Setting up a recycling point at her house, 80-year-old Ling Wu Yuanying wears a smile on her face every day.
I think doing recycling makes me feel younger. When I stay in the house, my mood will be bad and I will start to frown a lot. I will also turn ugly.
Besides handling the recycling point, she also rides to the recycling station to sort recyclables every day.
I feel much better when I come here. It's very relaxing.
There's also another recycling volunteer, Chen Baochun, who is 63 years old and suffers from rheumatoid arthritis and also a spinal injury.
I've been suffering from the illness for my whole life. Doing nothing is just a waste of time. I feel that's meaningless.
She found her life purpose while doing recycling.
I feel a sense of responsibility when doing recycling. All my attention is being focused here, so I feel that I'm having a really good time doing recycling.
Every volunteer has the same intention of selfless giving, as the footsteps of doing recycling must not stop.
In Geelong, 45-year-old Miss Liao suffers from depression. She lived with her elderly blind mother. The home is dirty and volunteers have talked to the family many times in order to schedule a cleaning in the house.
With dirt and trash everywhere, Tzu Chi care recipient Miss Liao suffers from depression. She lives a poor life, but has quite a strong ego. In order to be here to clean, volunteers walked a long way with patience.
Miss Liao seems to give up on life and is very sad. I've talked to her, telling her that we're here to clean your environment. Every major change starts with a step, and cleaning is important because after doing so, home services will then be willing to come and serve. Seeing this dirty space, people will be scared to enter. After telling Miss Liao this, she agreed.
The first step of cleaning requires volunteers to move objects outside. The senior mother, who lives with Miss Liao, heard the moving noises and felt insecure as she asked volunteers what is happening. Climbing high to clean the ceiling and bending down to clean the bathroom. The volunteer team that arrived on the scene includes a 70-year-old senior. Although at such an old age, the volunteer is willing to give.
I don't want this to happen to her. She can't even deal with such a situation. We are still healthy, therefore we can help her.
It's fine, we'll buy you a new water heater. We'll change it for you even. It's better to have hot water. In the future, we'll return to give you a bath, okay?
Knowing that volunteers are kind people and they remove the bad smells of the home, the senior mother finally let down her guard and shared her personal thoughts. The home is now clean. Tiles on the wall are shining bright, proving the kind and giving nature of the visiting volunteers as they will continue to care for this household.
In Pingdong, two grandmothers told stories through a skit to let children understand more about dementia. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.